Hey everybody, Jay Schlansky here from the Fifth Trooper Network. I just want to take a moment to thank you for checking out this show. Did you know that over at thefifthtrooper.com we have tons of other content, including blogs, other podcasts, all kinds of stuff. In addition, if you want access to exclusive content, you can join us on patreon.com/thefifthtrooper and join at any level and you'll get access to exclusive blog articles, access to our private Discord, and much more. So please check us out, and thank you so much for all your support.
Welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the Fifth Trooper Podcast. This episode, the beatings will continue until morale improves. I'm Evan, your host tonight. With me, I have Austin.
What's up, guys?
And Nick.
Hey guys, how's it doing? So Austin's dishing out the beatings, and I think you're just taking them. Is that...
I am taking lots of beatings.
What a tale of two cities we have here.
Yeah, my KD is what we call dog water. Actual terrible.
I'm happy to sit in the middle.
But here, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Evan. Like, I would put you like top 25 players in the US for sure.
That's extremely generous.
Well, shit. But here's the thing. Like, I feel like you're like everyone has a rut, right? Maybe you're just in a rut trying to.
It's so this happens to me quite a bit when I'm in between finding like the next thing I think is good. Where we'll get into it in a little bit, but I think Grievous is still okay. I think he's for the points he's at. And having like into the fray, I think he does fine. That said, it's hard, I guess. We'll get into it, but I guess it's just like so. I'm like trying to figure out. I want to win with Grievous once. That's my goal. Because honestly, most units in this game right now, I just have no want to play them. Like most of the heroes, like I'm like, well, maybe I'll do Cody Rex. That sounds pretty cool. Like do a clone hero army, but man, if you don't take Anakin, it feels like you're throwing away a lot, or Yoda, or some giant token battery. Feels like you're just throwing it away. And like, well, Rebels right now is Echo Base or Cassian K2 Ahsoka. So those are your like
Boba too, I think.
Yeah, Boba's he's like he's nipping. He's kind of ready to jump in. Yeah. And then Shadow Collective's like, who knows? Right now, I'm not saying there's nothing in that faction, but I don't. It's so like played so little now. You get like our top, like one. It was like day one at Gen Con. No one played Shadow Collective, or one person did.
Yeah, there was. Well, I don't know.
I thought there was like.
I remember
one point,
I saw. I think there was one Shadow Collective at least. I think
like
I remember them handing like they were talking like, oh, he gets all 4 cards. Like there was one.
Yeah. So it's like one person like out of a heat. That's crazy. And Empire's got a lot. You can build them a lot of different interesting ways. And I just don't want to play any of that. Like there's nothing in the game right now where I'm like, man, I am excited to play this. It's like, well, man, Grievous at least is like funny, groovy, General Groovy. Apparently in Europe he does well. I don't know. There
was like 3 lists in the top 16 that were Grievous. I was actually talking with Ollie from That's No Moon, and I was asking like, what's up with this, man? Has Europe just figured out the Grievous secret? And he was like, I have no idea, mate, because he didn't play against any of them, but yeah, he was a little surprised to see.
I haven't actually seen them. What were they?
Boy.
Like was it? Because the Grievous list that I picture in my head looked nothing like that.
One had like a snail tank.
Yeah,
like the snail tank was like a Grievous delivery system.
I actually pictured. I'm picturing like 11, 12 act like Magna Guard, a bunch of naked B1s just beat down.
I do think it's funny that if he does his spin to win on the tank, it's the whole tank base, right? So he's just like running around the top of the tank, just spinning like a top.
I don't think it's bold statement here. I don't think Grievous's spin to win attack is actually that good.
It's
the the 1-pip disengage is good.
Well, no, it's the 1-pip disengage and dodge.
Yeah.
Like you getting the dodge token at the start. That's what's really good. The bonus is you get to hit the same guy twice. That's the real bonus of the card. But
the area, like I don't really care.
It's like fine, but like everything has so many ways to deal with suppression now. So you're like everyone
and
takes
it's also
two.
It's a range attack. You might even have cover.
Yeah, a lot of times because he doesn't surge and it's black, back, red, white. So a lot of times I'm like 1, 2, 2, 1, and I'm not even like getting a hit in, and that's just like, man. And you look at another card like Dooku's 1-pip. And you're like, that's a card. Right? You look at that, I'm like, that's that's a 1-pip, Luke's 1-pip. Son of Skywalker, both his 1-pips are like, now that's a 1-pip, right? You like see that, like that's a cool card. Honestly, I was hesitant on a while ago, but the one I've really zoned in being like the best card for him is his 2-pip. Is
100%.
And that's super great when he's going to take lethal damage. I can just hand it off to a bunch of B1s, and that's like really clutch, really good. But it's I don't know. Scale sucks. Block is
it really does.
The scale's terrible. Block is better than deflect, I'll say, because it's like at least you could do it in melee.
You guys can remind me that I said scale sucks at the beginning of this episode when we come back to some of my bat reports.
Oh yeah. I mean, it does. Scale
it does, but
the keyword in total because you're generally paying for it. But unhindered is very good.
Yeah.
Unhindered is super good.
So do you guys want to see the list that finished 5th at the MK Grand Tournament? Was it 2 weekends ago? Okay. Evan, I'm gonna send it to you. Just
read it off. You're good.
Oh, you want me to read off? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So General Grievous with AT, strict orders, up close and personal, gun.
AT.
Okay.
Yep.
And okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 E5S B1s, 1 worker droid, and 1 uplink.
Okay.
2 BX strike teams with the sniper, O push, and deflector shields, and 1 full BX sniper team with O push, transponders, and deflector shields.
Holy what? Okay.
What the hell is going on?
You know what?
And he had quite a lot of kill points over the course of the weekend. He had 2,600 almost. So
crap.
Yeah.
What's the user's name or first name?
Paul.
Hey, Paul.
First name.
Congratulations. I tip my hat. You are the true General Groovy. Okay, man. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But all right. We'll hit this upcoming events in no particular order because I can't be bothered. Crucible, I am now going to. Wasn't going to. Because I'm like,
was.
Yeah, so originally I'm like, so I was talking to Grammar and I'm like, hey, we could do like a weekend. We could go down, hit Disney on like a Friday and play something like that, right? And play Saturday and then be gone. Then I'm like, well, man, Gen Con, I kind of had some issues with my room, so I have more of a bill on that than I wanted to. And I'm like, man, do I really want to do this? And then like I paid some of it off. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm all right. And then I see, I'm like, well, let me check airlines. Let me check a flight. And then a round trip from JetBlue, and I get to pick my seat, which is really big to me. I hate being like stuck in a middle seat between 2 people. Like that's a nightmare for me. It was like $150 or something. And I'm like,
round trip
to from Syracuse to Orlando.
Oh
yeah, wasn't bad. So originally what caught my eye was Frontier was $100 round trip, but Frontier doesn't even let you have a carry-on. It's just like, and your first check bag is like $70 or something. I'm like, well, no thanks. So I said, then I messaged Nick and I'm like, yo, because Nick was like, man, maybe I won't go too. And I'm like, okay, we'll make like a blood pact and just not go and just say whoops. And then I got the room and the hotel, and I'm like, this isn't that bad. Like total with my flight and then my half of the room, it was like sub $400.
Yeah.
I want to say, and I'm like,
Yeah. Not
and
bad.
so what I'm thinking, so I'm coming in Friday, leaving Monday, is I can even like if I just scrub out Saturday and I don't make day 2, we can just go to Disney Sunday and like hit some of that pay the $100-$200 whatever just to get into this damn place of magic and wonder.
Yeah. So you're playing Friday?
I think I'm playing Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Yeah, I was gonna say there's also a MCP team tournament on Sunday if that's something you're interested in.
The team MCP team.
It's actually quite fun. I've done it the last 2 years, and
man, I do have. Well, I'll bring it if
I've also got my MCP stuff here too. If you want,
I'll bring it if Grammar doesn't get if Grammar makes day 2 and I don't.
Yeah.
And I have to cancel on my theoretical Disney trip.
Just all the spite.
Yeah.
And like I'll just play out of like begrudging, like okay, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I have to figure out some way how to get in there because my team has to defend our title from the last 2 years. So I got to figure out some way to get in the team
Crucible?
tournament. Yeah.
Oh, and okay. Oh,
no, for MCP, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But so I wasn't gonna go. Then it turns out like it's very affordable, weirdly, to go. And then so PAX Unplugged. I haven't updated this correctly. I believe the dates are set now and tickets are on sale. I go to PAX every year. PAX is a good time. It's like Gen Con, but manageable. That said, I don't know if it'll be manageable this year because Gen Con was a lot this year. It was
70,000 people, if I remember
plus
right.
they sold out of passes. Yeah, they
that's a lot.
It was like almost too much. The amount of traffic they had, and like the vendor hall was just like front to back the whole way around to get anything. The actual event spaces where we played the games was good, right? It was fine. It was like open enough, but it was like very draining. It was very draining.
How are the tables? I heard the tables were kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, they were like open.
Yeah, hit or miss is probably where I'd put it. There were some decent in tables. There were a few that were too open.
Mm-hmm. I saw a picture of one where it's literally just like skinny trees on the entire map.
Oh yeah,
I played on that one.
Yeah,
that's fine with double AAT. That's not too bad.
But it was actually I was against an impact gun line on that one, so it did it's sort of worth, but it also bit me. But yeah, it was a weird one.
Yeah,
I'll cover that one in one of my battle reports.
Yeah, we'll get to those in a sec. And then Nova Open end of this month. And after my last couple rounds, like, man, I do not want to play 2 days of Legion. I signed up for it. And so I have like a Thursday, I've got a build and play Arena Rex. Cause that's cool. And then I've got Friday and Saturday is both Legion. Yeah, it's like 2-day event. And so but as soon as I lose one, like if I don't have a shot to like get the top 4, I'm just gonna drop because I bought into like Shatterpoint event. I bought into another Arena Rex event. Even that Spec Ops tournament, I don't even know what I'm doing with that. It was like I bought a ticket to the Spec Ops event. Is that done? Is that out? The rules for that?
No, I think it's just the playtest thing now.
No, it's like an event. It's on Nova.
Well, no, I mean not the event, but I mean the rules. I think.
Oh, gotcha. So
which I haven't got a chance to dig into yet. I really want that to be good.
Yeah, me too. So I haven't got a chance to look at that yet. So I'll be there, and then hopefully that's it for the year. I'm just getting ground down. Or
you're being filed down into a sharp edge weapon.
Honed. In time for Worlds.
My will to live waning.
My prediction: you will get top 4 at Crucible.
Oh, all right. If
Evan, the strongest steel is forged in the fires of a dumpster.
Yes. No. The hardest diamonds are formed under the harshest pressure.
The clenched butt cheeks of Evan taking how many hits was that? no aims, and he didn't surge. Oh, a white dice? Yeah, man, I guess. Okay. 3 up defense saves. Let's go. Nothing? Okay. Yeah, we're having a good time. Ahsoka dice. So it's all math, right? Like you're not owed anything, but like in your head, you should be, when you're playing, you should be thinking like, when you throw dice, like if you throw 4 non-surging black dice, you're like, I should probably get 2. Right? Yeah, odds are about 50-50 per die. So 2. When you roll all out, great. When you roll nothing, sad. But like you shouldn't expect the rollout, right? Like that's not owed to you and how the statistics work, right? It's like but still like when I don't even get like when I consistently in a game don't get like just the minimum, like the average, I'm like, man, I'm getting like, especially in defense dice. I'm really like, so I've been playing Snapships. I'm writing a review for that for our blog, and it's pretty good actually. Snapships is really cool, and what's neat is no defense dice actually. You just roll hits, and then you have parts of your ship that it's like Armada. You just have parts of your ship that negate the damage, so you get to do the fun part of a combat game without the sad part of a combat game. Where you're just like, or like Arena Rex is kind of the same way. It's just like they roll hits and you have a static defense. It's like I block 3 of your hits, and then you go down the combat tree. So I'm beginning to like that because you're paying for your hero to have those static defenses. So you'll get your average, even if they spike or they go lower, it'll eventually kind of work out. That's not what a lot of games are these days. Like 40K, and this is you roll for the hits, and I get that. And I've just been like ground down recently through a few games, so it's definitely like a short-sighted view. But like when I was playing Snapships, I was doing a demo and I moved up and I shot some missiles, and he flew through an asteroid field, broke one of the missiles, and his gun shot him down, and it was cool. And he hit me with his mini guns and he lit me up. I'm like, this is all right. I don't care. It's just I'm having a good time. But anyway, event wrap-ups. We had Gen Con. I couldn't remember what the last one you won was, Austin. So Lone Star, I think. And then the Keystone Classic. So I'm just gonna do my quick bit on Gen Con. I'm not really gonna go into my games too deep here, but game 1. Let me if I pull up names here from Game Uplink. It was he played it was like a 13-act CIS list with spiders with flamethrowers.
Oh, that was
was it Brian Bear?
Yeah, that
was
Brian.
Brian Bear, yeah. And it was like the worst. So the first matchup I had was not him, then they had to repair, and I played him. And so okay, let me say this about Brian. The gentleman brings 2 standing mats, one for you and one for himself when you're playing. And he is a totally cool dude. 100%. It was just like a rough way to start my day, because I was like, I had to kill the spiders, and I'm like, oh, I'd roll my B1s, like couple crits. I was like, block, and I'm like, all right. And then I just didn't hide my tac droid just well enough, so his tac droid used orbital strike. I only had light cover. 4 hits, no blocks, dead. Round 0. Really, I'm like, man, it's gonna be a long day. Gosh darn. And then it just went down from there. Grievous got poisoned by poison. He had poison guns. It was just like
Deoxys mines.
I think that's where he had 6 rad launchers.
Couldn't stop him. It was I got like, man, my experience with B2s is that dice pool is scary, but the output is not consistent and usually doesn't feel good. So he rolled me pretty good. And then I'm like, man, well, I'm out. That sucks. Because you lose your first game, that's toast, right?
Yeah, what's
that usually?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, geez. And then next game, played a gentleman playing a CIS Bosculus. That was he was good. He brought like triple Magna. And I had just Grievous and Maul, and it was Intercept, and it went back and forth, and then it got to the point where my B2s could just bully. Like I had so many hit points, so I'm like, I'll just stand behind this heavy cover. Like boss can't kill me. And so that went okay. I got lucky there. In my last game against the gentleman from Gray Squadron, we played at Worlds actually, and so I thought this was going to be his anime revenge arc. And so he played Maul Asajj, and I had Maul Grievous, and we both kind of dived on each other, and Grievous actually was like MVP for me. He just turns out Jedi Hunter is pretty good when you're fighting Jedi.
Yeah,
so that
he's. Well, I was gonna say he's got enough health to kind of stand up to Asajj too,
and
even through Makashi.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm like actually enjoying about Grievous is like you can have a bad roll and take like 4, and you're like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, not good. You don't like to do that, but if you're doing that on like Maul or Anakin or something, like, oh my god, I'm dead. And this is like, well, I'm all right. So that game, it was really close, and then I just happened to I kind of dove Maul into the back of his line, and it was an intercept again, and then I force pulled his unit out of scoring. That went, and then I ended up winning on a point thing. I came in 16th for my day. I got my Ewok card, and my all I wanted was like the top 4 in CIS, so I could get the Smug Dooku, the Smuku card. So I got that. That was fine. Then I played Shatterpoint the next day and went 0-3. I got shellacked. I've never been beaten so bad. And then my day before was Onslaught, and a sad story about that was, so I went to play. I forgot my ticket back at my hotel room, and I'm thinking it's 2023. I've got the app with my purchases on it. I'm like, oh, I'll just show him and like we can play. He's like, no, we need the ticket or we don't get paid. I'm like, my brother in Christ, it's 2023. How do we not have a digital thing for this? So I had to go down to customer service. I had to wait like 45 minutes to get to the front, and then I had to buy another ticket, and the ticket was $30 to play. So I had to pay $60 to play 2 games of Onslaught. And the first game I played, the guy really just plays Onslaught, so he just beat the hell out of me. And the second game was closer, but I lost there, and I'm like, oh man, all right. And then third game was fine. Like it was kind of close. I ended up taking it. Then I got the prize dice, so I came in last. Only 4 people showed up, and so I was top 4, which would have made day 2, except I played on Shatterpoint because I don't get to play that. And I got last pick of the prize dice, so it's cool. I won prize dice.
Yeah,
they're see-through gold flaked with gold writing. You cannot read them. They are near illegible. And the 1 and the critical is like a squiggly dragon mark for the Zentarum. You can't tell them apart, really, especially if you're rolling them at like a table's length. They are the worst dice I've ever seen. Just like hands down across the board. Like even like Chessex wouldn't accidentally make that. There's got to be some human there like making dice. Like, no, you can't read these. They are worse than the white special attack dice in Legion. They are worse than that, because at least that, depending on what like table you're playing on, what color, you might be able to see them better. Like it was that was rough. But I'm like, cool, I won dice, never using these again. So my Gen Con experience was good overall. If we have time, I've got a funny story about me getting dragged to a pinball arcade that I'll tell later if I remember.
I think you should tell it now, Evan.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So how do I start this? Okay, so
this is something that only happens to you.
Yeah, so I was with my buddy Pat. He came with me to the event. And we were at the hotel we were at. It was a really nice hotel. I'll say it's one of the best I've been to, period. Really great. But from 5 to 7, it's more or less an open bar. They give you drink tickets, but the guy would take one of the 30 tickets I was given and just keep feeding me beers all night. And so we were drinking, and then this girl sits down next to us. She's about like 5'2". She's just kind of set the scene. She's about 30, and she's from Mexico, I believe, and she's on business for H&M and or Caribbean. I think it was Mexico. I'm probably getting it wrong. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm not gonna DDoS her and tell her your real name. So we'll just call her we'll call her Sriracha. Sriracha. Because that's at least like, yeah, I was trying to say her, like, I know her name, but I was trying to say something that kind of like didn't sound, like, only names that sounded like her name kept coming up, and I'm like, nope, we're just gonna call it, that's it. So it's Sriracha. So that's so we're sitting there with Sriracha. And we and so we're drinking, and then she sits down, she has like a whiskey sour, and the dude just keeps topping it off with whiskey for her. And I'm like, she's like, I gotta stop. So we stop the guy and the bartender, and then she has some water, we're hanging out, and she goes, hey, do you guys want to, Pat and I, we were just like casually talking. We weren't like, we just met each other about like 20-30 minutes ago. She goes, hey, do you guys want to go to a pinball arcade? And I can't tell you the last time anyone's asked me to go anywhere like that. I'm like, yeah, let's go. All right, let's go. So we go out to the car. So she's like, I'll drive. I don't want you guys to drive. I want to drive. And we're like, okay. Look, we're two random dudes, right? We could be serial killers. I don't know. So I'm like, all right, that driving gives you control. I'm whatever, like I'm cool with that, man. I'm along for the ride. So we go out, and she like gets in the car, and we're getting going, and then she like hits a pouch or something, and I'm like, what was that? And she's like, oh, it's just a micro dose. So I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm like, micro dose of what? And then
Gum, Evan.
Yeah, it was gum. It was we'll call it gum. And so she microdosed some gum, and we started driving, and I'm like, I'm dead. That gum is very minty, I bet. So I'm just like, and so Sriracha is very handsy driving to other drivers as we're driving around, and I'm like, this is it, I guess. This is it for old Evan.
This is how Evan ends.
So we we get to the place, but all the roads are closed and they're all blocked off around this whole area. There's a marathon happening. And so like all these cars, you had to like, it was a little like a maze. You had to like drive in like an Uzumaki, like the spiral, right? To get into it. And then like like people run by in the marathon, and then we have to like drive between people. Like other cars were doing it. So just to get to this place. So we get there, and I'm like, parking happened. So we eventually found a place to pay. I'm like, look, I'll just pay to park because I don't care. Well, I have to get out of this car. I'm like, all right. So we pay to park, and I'm like, all right, we'll walk to the place. It was like a block away. So we get there, and it actually is this really cool place. It's called Pin Mechanical, and it's a pinball / candlepin bowling / like just cool bar. And so we went in and we bought bowling, and it's candlepin's not the right term. It's these the pins are on a rope, and you get a ball that's like a cannonball size. It's about the size of your hand, no holes in it, and you get 3 shots at it. Cool. And then when you knock them down, it like picks them up and resets the ones you didn't hit. It's very cool. And so we're drinking some more, and then we're hanging out there, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta cool down, because I'm like, I am driving home, whatever happens. Like I have to drive home here. And so I'm like, hey, let's go play pinball. So they had like 30 pinball machines, and I'm not just talking like crappy ones. These are like the 10 grand pinball machines, because I only know the price because I wanted to get they had the one I want. They had the it's the Foo Fighters versus the Aliens pinball machine.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's really good, and it's like them like Scooby-Doo style fighting aliens. And when you put in your quarter to play, you pick a song to listen to of one of their songs. It's like a cassette tape, and he jams it in the player, and it's very cool. Amazing machine. Would love to own someday. So we're playing there, and then she's playing with us, and then there's these guys playing. It's beer pong, but it's with trash cans. So they get these rubber trash cans up, and they have a ball, and so she joins them playing that. And I just kind of sober up. I'm like, all right, let's get out of here. So we spent a couple hours there. We played a couple rounds of bowling. It was a lot of good time. Like, for as crazy as everything was, Sriracha was a lot of fun. She was very cool. And so we get back to the car. I'm like, hey, I'm going to drive. She's like, you sure? I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to drive. So we get going back and everyone's kind of like, it's been a long night, right? Going out. She's like, yo, can I get some McDonald's? I went, yeah, sure. Because there's one right near a hotel. And so we pull up and I'm like, well, what do you want? I'll just order for you. I got it. Don't worry about it. And she like crawls across me and just orders it into the machine. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like it's she's like, can I get a chicken bundle and this and that? And I'm like, righteous. And so we pull up, we bid her adieu for the night, and then she leaves and I never see her again. Which is sad because she was cool. Like she was her dog's name is Han Solo.
Cool.
Yeah, but so that was night 1 of Gen Con. I'd regret yeah, that was the first night. Every other night we pretty much just were really boring and went back to the hotel. Well, weren't really boring. We went back to the hotel because it was free booze from 5 to 7. So you just drink all you want, then you just go to your hotel room and like open board games or whatever, right? Like so Gen Con outside of the tournaments was a blast. Would do again, 10 out of 10. But yeah, so that's my Gen Con story. But yeah, why don't you go over, you know what, while we're doing Lone Star, let me oh crap, you know what? I want to draw on Zane's face. I have this the masculine urge to just make funny. Okay, you know what? Okay, don't look, pop. Just pop. Nope. We'll get to those other slides shortly. There
People are just gonna be like, why is
yeah
so this image here, I had to include it. I just had to. And
there's so many hotel rooms of people in the background going, what the hell?
Yeah, just just like he's like a
Zane.
wild man out of
Zane's traveling single file to conceal their numbers.
Is this the Dutch story?
This is the duck story.
Okay, so what happened to the duck? Oh, here we go. This is what I want. This is some real money. Yeah, all right.
Oh, all the faces there, all the faces. So the duck story. So I think it was after the first night. Yeah, after the first night. Kyle had actually mentioned something about like, hey, let's go check out the pool. That's, that was something he really wanted to do. Very nice pool at the resort. And so we had exactly 64 players, which meant we did not have to play a shadow round, which meant we could go to the pool. So we all went to or not all of us, but fair bit of us. I think obviously Zane was there, myself, Tim, Dave, Jordan, Kyle, Tyler Hatfield, who's also from Florida, and I'm trying to see if I'm leaving anyone out. I think there may have been a couple other people. If I forget, my apologies. But we are just kind of hanging out in the hotel or in the pool at the hotel, and all of a sudden, like people kind of start swimming near us, and we start hearing people talk, and we keep hearing them say like, the duck, and we turn around and we're like looking, and we see what everyone's talking about. There's a mama duck and a little baby duckling just swimming around in the pool, and people are trying to get them out. But the more people that try to get the ducks out, the crazier they get, and the more the mama just like starts freaking out. So we were the last ones to get out of the pool, and basically Tyler and I were trying to coax the mama and baby duck to the steps to see if the mama duck could get out, no problem. But the ledge was just a little too high, I think, for the baby duckling, and the mama duck flew out and was sitting there waiting for the baby duckling to go, but it was just sitting there like cheep, 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 couldn't get out. Mama's out. He's getting scared. So Tyler and I were trying to like pick him up and cradle him in our hands, but when I tell you, I have never seen a creature accelerate as fast as I saw. That baby duckling went from boop 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 to like I was almost about to scoop him up, and then he was 5 feet away from me, and it was like there was no catching that little guy. So Kyle at this point was like, "All right, guys, maybe we should, all be adults about this and just leave the ducks alone." Um, and Zane, with his heart of gold, was like, "One last try," and he went and grabbed the pool net, which is like 10 feet long, and Tyler was herding the baby duck, not hurting, herding. Don't want PETA coming after us now. um, into like the shallow end of the pool, and then Zane had the net to try to like catch the baby duckling like when he went out the other way. And Zane finally, Zane actually got him in the net, got him out of the pool, and then him and Mama just kind of ran off into the bushes, and that was that. That was the duck story.
Man, Lone Star.
Oh, Lone Star was a
Go for
great
Legion.
time. Yeah.
Stay for the Ducks.
Stay for the Ducks. That second, oh Tim, yes, yes.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, the so this was Sunday night. We went to a place called Bobo's, but it's not like BOBO, it's like BEAUX apostrophe S. It was bourbon and biscuits.
Oh,
And that was a great time as well too. Tim Tim hands me a glass. He's like, "Hey, here, try this." And there's probably like 3 shots worth. And I go to take a sip, and to me, it doesn't look like there's much left. The glass was kind of like looked a little deceiving, and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll just kind of knock it back." And as I'm going to drink it, Tim sees me starting to tilt my head back, and he's like, "No, no, 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 that's $30 a glass, or a pour or whatever." And I was like, by that time, it was already like on its way down, and I was like, "Oh my, I'm sorry, Tim.
I'm sorry, Tim."
But he he was kind of showing us his whiskey and bourbon expertise, which he is actually certified in. He is a certified
yeah, Tim's whiskey, actually like he was at the Keystone Classic, which would get he went 2-1 at Keystone. Actually, he did pretty good. Nice. It was like a Boba Callus double bounty. It was like Boba Callus IG and IG 11 and IG 88. Like very top heavy. I didn't think it would do it, but
I think you can push it to 11, but you lose some heavies.
Yeah, it was good. Like he did well. To me on paper I wouldn't have done it, but he's good champion.
Yeah, I think Callus is actually I played Callus Boba at a local event, and I lost game 3 against Liam, who's like he's he's the Florida prodigy. Like he doesn't go to many tournaments, but the ones he goes to, he's like the guy to beat. But yeah, him and I played in Tampa, and he was playing CAS Mall. We got on a map where Maul could sit behind a wall and just be a speed 1 move away from the middle box, and I literally couldn't shoot him. So I had to try to figure out some craftiness, but I think Boba Callus is definitely good.
Boba Callus? Callus got like way better.
yeah, Callus pretty good.
I'm still only really a fan of Callus if you're making good use of contingencies.
Yeah, which I think you are. If you get into a situation where like whipcord's still a good answer for force users, but an even better answer is just going first in a situation where you need to and not risking a roll off.
Yeah, man. Not that Grievous needed cunning. nor does he need cunning, but it's
Yeah.
cunning is a very you really miss it when you don't have it. You're like, I really need this one pip to land, and then you don't get the die roll, and you're like,
yeah,
well, okay.
yeah, they just back the thing up that you really want to go hit. Like, okay, just at the edge of 2, so you can't double move into base contact with me.
Usually.
Yeah, usually. Foreshadowing is a form of literary.
But yeah, so yeah, Lone Star was super fun. It's like every tournament I've been to this year has just it's been awesome in its own way. And
so I'm gonna hold you real here. I sent Zane that picture and he wants to jump on real quick.
Oh, let's get him.
Yeah.
Let's bring him in. Oh man. A pleasant surprise. What's up, Zane?
Hey Zane.
Oh, we got him.
Oh, what's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
We're just going over Lone Star. We're doing like all the bat reps, and we heard the duck story.
Oh, yeah. Yes, the ducks.
And
Save the duck.
and just want to say congratulations for organizing Lone Star. I know it's a very thankless job, but doing it's taking the knee.
I appreciate that. It was a ton of fun. I love hearing everybody's stories from it and stuff, and what people have said. So that's brought me a lot of joy post Lone Star.
Yeah,
cool, dude.
I'm definitely having the blues, just remembering how fun it was, and not not being able to be at a tournament for a while.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's what's your next tournament you're headed to, Zane?
It'll be PAX.
You're going to PAX. Okay.
You're not doing a Crucible, Zane?
No, I was going to, but I get back from a dive trip in Honduras that weekend. So
that's right.
Oh,
You were
that sounds fun though.
We were talking about him like I'm like, I forgot that was you, because I'm like, there's some guy who had something like way more interesting to do than than to play a Legion tournament. He had like a really good I'm not going to be there. You told me that at ACO actually. Yeah, that's right. And then I'm like, oh yeah, do that. Don't do that. don't play Legion.
Maybe I can. I'll bring like a defense dice or something and like roll it every time before I get in the water and be like, all right, how's this dive gonna go?
Oh god, that's like oh man, that's
Sharks today. Let's see.
You roll a blank and that's gonna be like, oh, maybe you know what? Let's
the bends.
Let's just hang out.
Yeah, blank equals the bends.
You're just gonna sleep on the boat. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But you want to give us a quick rundown of how Lone Star went for you?
Yeah, no, I think it for those of you who don't know, that was the first tournament I've ever been a TO for. And there was a lot of prep to it. A lot of people helped me with it. Patrick Jeroboam was supposed to be the guy who was going to run it, and actually wound up coming to me because he had a family reunion that weekend. And then I had two awesome consulars help me out, Zach and Ethan. Those guys were fantastic on helping with calls. But really the entire event went almost flawlessly. There was just a hiccup, about a month before when we got world qualifier status, just to make a cut and then get a redemption bracket in, because I had everything set with a 6 rounds of Swiss over 2 days. Yeah. And it was like, then they wanted the cut, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. Like, let's figure this out. Let's get a redemption going. I snagged some more prize support for that redemption bracket.
The prize support was awesome, Zane. I mean, just for those of you that either don't know or haven't read the article, I mean, Zane bought a lot of stuff out of his own pocket for prize support, like a Shatterpoint core set, additional Legion core sets. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And I think the people that ended up going home with it really, really needed stuff like that,
Yeah, no, it was, I appreciate it. Thanks for that. Cause it was just, I like people to come to a tournament and find other ways to win prizes. We had the bounty, Bounty Hunters Guild thing going on, and like people were loving that. Then I had like a raffle ticket system that like if you won a game, you got a blue ticket. If you lost a game, you got a red ticket. And then those went into a big raffle for a bunch of the extra prize stuff that was there.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, the whole event, I think, just ran so well. All the players were just absolutely fantastic. We really didn't have any issues with anyone or any calls, anything like that. So it was a solid weekend.
Yeah.
Excellent. I did you guys end up making more? Did you ever get more of those last year? I think it was. There was these cowboy aim and dodge tokens that were made for LSO.
Oh, that's cool. No, I didn't.
Yeah, all right.
I didn't have any of those. Yeah.
Those were sick. But no, man, yeah. We were just kind of we went over Gen Con. We were kind of just started LSO. And we're gonna move on to well, let's talk about at least the top. Let's see what we got here. We'll hit the top 4 real quick. Some jackass one. I don't know. He just keeps winning stuff, and we're kind of like,
who is this guy?
Yeah, we're kind of getting sick of him, but he keeps coming up. Okay, well, second.
I'm keeping both Evans busy. All right, Evan gets to write, and
true. That's true. So you won with go over your list real quick for us.
Yeah. So it is 11 activations with CAD pretty loaded up. He's a thick boy. The smoke grenades is just to get me to 800 so I can like play Vaps and hostage and just be like, hey, you're at 799. All right, I can set up my defenses, and like now you have to be the aggressor, and the last thing you want to be doing is running into range of Magna Guards, 3 of them at that. But yeah, it kind of started with CAD, and I was like, all right, well, let's throw the 6B1s in there because you kind of need to. And then I'm like, okay, so 1 Magna, and then what do I want? It's like I could do Asajj and some heavies, but Tempest was a thing, and I was like, I feel like Asajj can just get murdered in her deployment. So I was like, what about 2 Magnas? What can I do after that? I was like, oh, I could just put a 3rd Magna in here. Okay, cool. So then the 2 PKs came along. I don't think heavies on B1s are super great right now. The E5S is like probably worth taking, and then other than that, I'm not really. I'd prefer the B1.
I don't think the rocket's that good.
No, especially just because you don't have like good access to surges. But yeah, this is it's surprisingly a more objective focus list. Other than the T series, it's very difficult to actually kill full activations in this list. And like all I just have to do is make sure the T series doesn't get like one shot by orbital strike. But even if it does, as long as it's not 4 crits or something, I can just bodyguard with the Magnus. But I wasn't like, you have to fold to something, and I was like, all right, well, I don't really have a great answer for any clones because I don't have a lot of Pierce, and I have like bunch of melee stuff that Anakin can just chew up with his saber throw. But it's like, well, if I have to fold something, at least I'll fold to like Anakin, and then maybe I can try to like beat them in the objective game. But yeah, I like it. I don't think it's like the best list ever. I think it's somewhere between good and great, but I don't think it's. I don't think it's X.
So
yeah, I mean, there were some moments though where I had some luck where it's like, all right, there's 7 coming in on your 6 health B1s, and like I was like, all right, I just need them to live with 1 so I can run this guy behind a wall. And it's like I had a surge from the T series, and it's like, oh cool, I got 2 paint, cool, they live, all right. And then just like run away, and then it's like, all right, I could basically just set things up to where the Magna Guards, like if they need to, just like, all right, all 3 can charge this thing, and then if you kill a bunch of them, I can just resurrect bodies with the PK and still hit you with my full 8 dice, even though they have wounds on. There's 2 models that have wounds.
The big
on
trick,
them. Yeah. So it's really good at actually like absorbing a punch to the face and then punching back just as hard. But yeah,
cool. All right, then we've got. Go ahead, Zane. Yeah.
I say what I love is awesome. When I saw that you were you submitted a list for CIS, I was like, oh, I wonder who's running his same ACO list. And when I pulled it up and I saw a variation of it, I was like, dude, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna do the same thing he did at ACO, and everyone's gonna be like, what the heck's going on with these droids? And it's just gonna be an awesome thing.
You know, it's funny. Yeah, it's like his general consensus is like CIS is not super amazing. And if you look at top 8, you're the only CIS.
Yeah.
And you made it like all the way up. But so that's just a point to like, it can be, it's the driver and the car.
Yeah.
Right. So like you need both. So if you have a really tuned list, but you don't know how to play it, it's just as like hindering as the other way around.
Which I will admit, I was trying to play Boba Callis and I couldn't quite figure out the nuances for it. So I was like, I'm going to save that for like another tournament. Cause again, great list. I would not have been the best pilot for it because it's not really my play style. And I haven't played that list really. And, that I definitely think what you're saying though about, it's the car and the driver. Like you could have a souped up car and then the driver doesn't know how to get it out of first gear, and
then you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of rebels actually. That's pretty nice to see. We had Michael with Cassian Ahsoka K2. That's pretty like standard good rebel right now. A lot of Pierce, a lot of having Force user is always good.
Yeah.
We've got another Aaron Smith. I won't DDoS your last name. Watch the video or read the article. But Aaron with Ahsoka, standard good rebel stuff.
Yeah. Just no Cassian K2, and then he's basically just got
rebel officer and vets.
Yeah.
Had the DLTs in there, which is not something you see much anymore. But I still do think 2 of them could be decent.
Yeah, I mean they hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Then we've got Caesar with Yoda Chewie triple bark, which is really good. It's one of those like
throw on the Yoda there.
That's what I was worried about if I had to play him. Yes,
right.
On his relentless turn, you can move relentless throw.
Oh, okay.
So
that's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
That also gives you the relentless fire support option.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that saying?
Oh, I say he was running that list so well. Every game he played he knew what he was doing with it.
Yeah. All right. Then we've got James said I could.
Yeah.
We got Thomas, Blizzard. No, not Blizzard. Oh, it is Blizzard. Okay.
Yeah, it's Blizzard.
Veers, 2 HRUs, 2 Snows, 4 bikes, ATSD. So the current like like I don't want to say good Blizzard, but like the other accepted like this is a tuned Blizzard list kind of list. Cool to see.
Veers with Surge to crit and 2 infinite range.
Pretty good.
Technically 3 because the Blizzard is 2 attacks.
Yeah.
Like
beam.
Pretty good.
Travis, Sabine. Okay.
Yep. I played him first round of day 2. It was a very tough game.
Sabine Clan Ren. Cool to see that's like a thing again. I've always thought that was like good, but just too expensive. But maybe now, and Darksaber too. That's interesting. Usually you don't see her take that, but cool. Good job, Travis. James, we've got Blizzard Force again. Veers, it's the same list. It's turns out it's pretty good. So General Veers, 2 HRUs, 2 Snows with repair bots, 4 bikes, ATST. And then we have Ewoks. This is what I was actually interested in. So it's even Bright Tree Village Ewoks, not the poser rebel lists of I'll take 2 Ewoks and we'll call it an Ewok list. This is you're going all in, baby. So it's C3PO Wicket, 2 decked out skirmishers. 5 decked out skirmishers. All with that Ewok axe, the bonk stick. Oh man, pour one out for Cheems. The no horny Cheems passed away.
Rip.
Pour one out for real OG.
Yep.
So actually, what's funny? I didn't know he died, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be funny if I made Cheems alt arts for the Ewok axe? Just a little bonk, because just bonk Red Pierce one, just pump. So maybe we'll do one for a in memoriam. Yeah,
Yep.
in memoriam of Cheems, alt art card, and then a smattering of rebel troopers. It's like one rebel trooper, one commando, Ewok slingers, and then Chewbacca. And so he made 8th, so whatever I'm going to say is take it with a grain of salt. But I think Chewbacca ATST is a trap, with Tempest kind of walking around being like, "Hey, I might be 3 ATSTs to your 1 ATST," but it's cool. So
There's also there's something to be said to just not break incognito.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did a big
Yes.
wall that you can't shoot or shoot through, and it's just kind of gonna happen.
yeah, that's fair. And
Yeah.
also you can do brains and brawn.
Yep.
With Leia's 2-pip, and then does not break incognito because he does not fire. He's just adding the weapon pool, which I find funny that him shooting, they're like, "Hey, oh, it's not ours," but seeing it shoot with Leia, they're like, "Nah, man, he probably just trying to shoot her and he missed."
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. His targeting computer must be
It must be
malfunctioning.
bad. So congratulations, everyone went to Lone Star. Congratulations, Austin, for
Thank you.
clapping another event. Congratulations to Zane for running a very smooth event.
Thank you.
And it's anyone who has to, it's usually the people who enjoy Legion the most are the ones running the events, and that always stinks because it's like you want to play, right? But someone's got to take the knee to sit out. So congratulations. But we did skip. Grammar, do you want to run down your Gen Con?
Yeah, so I had a busy
Guys,
Gen
I'm
Con.
gonna jump out real quick.
Oh, hey,
Yeah, man.
Zane, thank you a lot. Thanks for
Yep.
coming on, man.
See you,
Yeah,
Zane.
no, take care.
Take care.
All right, so I'll try to blitz through this a little bit because a bit.
No, you're good.
So first round of day 1, played against a rebel player. Name was Trace. I think you probably had the right call of not blasting everybody's name out, but you know who you are, Trace. He was playing. I don't remember if it was Echo Base or not. Oh no, it was Echo Base. But he was playing triple vets with the heavy, triple Mark IIs, Leia, Wedge, and 2 Tauntauns. So he was like straight on. It was like almost your old Echo Baseless 7, straight up.
Yeah.
Fluffy, awesome. But unfortunately, to refresh everybody, I was running double AAT with a squad of Black Suns, and he just didn't have the impact requirement to try to deal with this. So we ended up playing on key positions, major offensive and clear, nothing too outlandish. But basically, I was able to put one AAT that he separated his Wedge and the 2 Tawns on one flank, and the rest of his army was on the other. And I basically just put one tank on each of them, and then my army was kind of in between. And I was able to, before they really could deal with much of anything, Wedge and the Tawns were dead, and the tanks were plowed into the vets, and he had his vets and Mark IIs all game just firing into an AAT. But when it's got a repair droid and 2 surges, the thing just didn't die. I think he finally killed it turn 4. But by then he was down to, I think, Leia and like a vet squad.
No,
So after he wanted to get the moral victory of killing the AT, and then we shook hands and called it because he still had another one to deal with.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Black Suns were the spice to the list. They like shot a range 2 shot at a Tauntaun once or something like that. Like they didn't do much, but it was rough. A lot of his durability was based on dodges and stuff, and like just high velocity through it. And
there's something to be said about
impact,
a threat that stops people from attacking. Like they don't want to get too close because that's, even if it doesn't get to shoot, it's like it pays for itself by just kind of being there.
Yeah, they just hung out to intercept the Tauntauns, and one squad made it in, and they just got blocked, and that was about what happened. So unfortunate for him, he didn't quite have the list to deal with the particular kind of heat that I was bringing with double AAT. It's just so weird. But he's still after that he ended up going 2-1. So he did do pretty well.
Nice.
Round 2. This was a match I didn't really see coming. I was playing against a dude named Kyle. He was awesome. We had a ton of fun. But he was playing Imperial Remnant with 3 HH-12 Death Troopers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, surge to hit, I guess. Yeah.
Surge to hit, getting independent aims, courage 2, precise 4, or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Or yeah,
Precise 2.
Yeah,
Rolling
precise
4
2, yeah.
dice. Yeah.
Yeah, rerolling 4. Those things hit like a truck. Especially if he had offensive push on him, so or no, he didn't. He had something. I think he had the
Transponders.
He had the transponders.
Yeah, because auto push is literally pointless if you're using the HH12.
Yeah, no, he didn't have auto push. He had transponders, so he was like, and an officer. Sometimes he would even get like 3 aims on him. I think it was nuts. Or no, he did that with coordinated fire. He threw like 3 aims on him and just fishing for crits and like throwing 6 onto an AAT. This one I was able to force it to break through though. This one was also on that weird table where it was just like a forest of these trees and like almost nothing else. But I had to actually ban to roll out to have legal spots to deploy both my AATs.
Oh, jeez.
But I was still pretty happy with breakthrough because those Death Troopers really don't like to move.
So let's put in that for a sec. But if you get to a table and you don't have a spot to put your vehicle, like deploy your army, what do you not get to deploy it?
I think you're supposed to touch the edge of the board and then you can be outside of the deployment zone.
No, it wasn't that. It was like the trees were, because they're taller than the AAT.
They were so clumped up that you couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't fit between them.
So you would have to try to balance it on top of like 3 of them, and then it could never get down.
Yeah, I guess.
I think that's I would.
Yeah, I would just move some trees around.
Yeah, you were a good player to a good sport to playing with them. I think if that comes up, you call a counselor.
Yeah,
and you say,
it was sort of on me because like, so we got paired up on the light up table, but the light up table didn't have power running to it and it wasn't entirely set up yet. So it was like, no, don't play on that one. Just go find a different one. So I looked around. I found the closest one to us that was open. That looked like roughly the same, like from a distance, like in terms of like LOS blockers. Because I could see from a distance this one was pretty. The one that we ended up on was pretty open, but so was the light up one.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's go over there. It'll be about the same. And then when I got up to it and looked at it, I'm like, oh no.
I would suggest if you ever run into this situation as a listener, call a TO and just have them arrange the table so that you can put your toys down. If there's no place to move your toys, that's not how this game was meant. You should never be punished because you brought 2 tanks. Tanks are cool, right? It's like if that ever happens to anybody else, Grammar was a good sport and just kind of like dealt with it. But you should always, you should always be able to play with your toys, right? Like there shouldn't be a world where you just lose because you got a wrong table because you couldn't put your stuff down. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to remember his list. So he had the 3 Death Troopers, Gideon, a scouts with the DLT, or not the DLT, with the T-21, the crit gun. And then a shore trooper squad and a stormtrooper squad, both with officers and heavies to keep the courage 2 up because they're never in range of Gideon because it's remnant. They want the free aims.
Yep.
Did he ever Nick, did he ever use Gideon's 3-pip and put the face ups on the scouts and then shoot with the death
No,
troopers?
because he had two things also that I just remembered. He had two
Mhm.
two speeder bites, two spotted speeder bites.
Okay.
His orders usually went to those.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a great player. I was able to basically I killed most of his stuff that didn't have a surging red save. So I was able to kill the scouts, kill the shores, killed the storms, and then just kind of marched into his deployment zone. And so the stuff that he had left was the stuff that was kind of immobile. And Gideon ran in, he stored a point, but I was able to sneak 5 in. And I think he killed, I don't remember if he killed one tank or both tanks. He was very close to killing the second if he didn't kill the second. But by the time that he did, it was just too late and had enough bodies over there. Black Suns, again, didn't really do much of anything. It was rapid reinforcements, and they got dropped in behind my tank. But nothing was ever really close enough to them for it to matter. I think they ended up they just kind of ran in and were a storing body. But it was a really good game. And remember that list as we'll come back to it. And then round 3, trying to remember my opponent. I was playing this time both me and my opponent here we were both 2-0. So we pretty much knew that we were gonna get in. So it was nice to play a little bit more relaxed game, and good for me because in terms of kill points, I got mollywopped. So this game we're playing on a bit more of a denser table. This is Matt Evans, one of the indie Garrison guys.
Yep.
And he was running a Cassian, Sabine, Ahsoka list.
Nice.
Yep.
And there was a board side that I really didn't want him to have. So I was red player. I chose that side. And he ended up working the deployment to danger close, which pretty much flips the sides on who gets the bigger area of what. So that was good on him. We ended up on payload, so he had a nice bit of run to run his part through and cover. He also had a really nice building in the way of me that he just sat Sabine behind with Cassian too to kind of just intercept me and just cause me a bit of a pain because he had to take a point lead. And he very much did. Throughout the course of the game, Sabine was just absolutely destroying me. I was all in a clump, so explosions just ripped me a new one. Lost 2 Black Suns just to explosions, and then Sabine ended up killing the rest of them later. I just had to tie up Sabine and Cassian. I never got to kill either one. I did manage to get my cart through them though. Just I had too many bodies. I got to run through and got a 3-point touchdown. And I was really close. Ahsoka came in eventually and started chopping up my tanks. She chopped up one, and then towards the end on turn 5, I moved my tank into my last remaining tank into a position where he was blocking his cart mostly. He had to kill it or lose. If he didn't kill the tank, he wasn't going to be able to make this 3-point connection. So I blocked him off. All he could move his cart that turn was about an inch. He moved up base tank, and he did end up killing it. And so his cart moved and was just barely in range to get the 3-point attention because he did have to take a little bit more of a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Keep it safe.
Yeah.
But I think if I would have taken some time and because if I just would have measured before and blocked the cart that turn from moving at all, I don't think he would have been able to make the connection. I don't think he would have been able to get 3.
So is payload just like an awful objective now? I feel like it's just not a good objective anymore.
I enjoy it when I have 2 massive pie plates that can block it.
Yeah. I mean, like you probably do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like I never really understood the nerf to it where it couldn't just fly over everything. They said it had to be on the ground. It can only go over what the handlebar goes over, and that's like nothing. There's nothing. Like I don't. So
both of our carts only
They
got their
should
turn
allow
checks.
it to climb. Like if it has to, it can climb.
Yeah.
just to get around.
It just
yeah.
reduces its speed, right? Like instead of going speed 2, it goes 1. You're like, okay, I can go over this building, but it takes time. It has to like hover up and then go. Like,
Yeah,
that'd be helpful.
just let it climb.
it just stinks that it's like such a downer of an objective now because it's yeah. Anyway, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, that I don't take it anymore. I used to take it. It's like, oh, I'm playing hemmed in. I should probably take it so I get like the bonus. But even with hemmed in, I'm like, I don't know, man. This might not make it depending on like how things go.
Yeah.
But so I ended up being 3-3, which was close, but the kill points were not. He was murdering me, and I couldn't really set up shots on him. So I killed 128 points of his, which is like 2 rebel trooper squads, I think. And he got 619 of mine.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Jeez.
Might as well have been a concession. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it hurt. Sabine just absolutely tore me a new one.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka did too. She killed both tanks.
She do that.
Damn. Yeah. She can do
But
it.
it was just how the terrain was set up. I think she could get into back arc of one of them before I could even attack. And she was just like, all right, take 4. Or no, it was more like 5. Just tripped me, use a dodge card. It was like she 2-shot a tank and then went on to like
Holy cow. Yeah.
2-shot another. It was.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unconceivable that on her 1 pip turn, she's getting, let's say she has tenacity and has 10 dice. It's not unconceivable that she forces 9 saves on a tank.
I think I did
If
at one
she
point roll like 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's piercing too. And like, you're probably taking, 6. If you have some surges, maybe 4 or 5. But
Yeah. So I did end up losing that one. It was close on objectives. I think if I had a position better, I could have had it, but it didn't really matter. We were both in, and standings were reset. So all good. Congrats to him. Now it was Thursday. And Friday, to take a little break, I ended up playing Onslaught. I had the opposite schedule of Evan. I ended up going. We had 6 show up to our event. I ended up going 2-0, and my opponent at the end was also 2-0. But because of there were so many ties, nobody else could get to 2 wins.
Jeez.
Like there was 2 people that had tied twice, and like 1 person that had tied and lost, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, there was 2 ties and lost, and 1 that had tied twice. Yeah, and 2 tied twice. Yeah, 4 of the people. But so like we knew that we were gonna win before because no one could even catch us. So we divvied up the prizes. I got first dice picked, and he got gift cards. And we're like, all right, cool. Handshake, and he ran off to go like get some Lorcana.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I got my red wizard dice.
Those are actually good. Those are actually good dice.
Yes.
Mine are so dog water. I like I'm upset that I got them. Like I would have rather almost gotten nothing. And just been like, you came in 4th, you didn't get anything. I'm like, shucks. Because it's like a prize that I can't obtain.
Right. But like I said, I did end up doing well enough to make Saturday. So there we go. Helps if I hit the right button. Oh, nope. Start at round 1. So my first round Saturday opponent, his name was Kyle. He was a really cool dude, and I know that because I played him already. He actually came back on Friday and won through enough to qualify.
Damn. All right.
So I'm glad he did because he was an awesome dude. I was happy to see him and play him again. It was a lot easier to explain the list. And this was one of the funnest games of Legion I think I've ever played. So we were playing Payload again, and he picked an objective that was obviously near my something near my deployment zone, and I actually ended up picking the same one. So
instead of instead of the toilet bowl where you're both like trying to avoid each other.
Yeah,
you
we
cause
both
the
just
fight, yeah.
darted to the same spot.
Yeah.
And it was like, if I'm, it's major offensive, so I got my cart in the middle and he's got his in the middle, and it was like my top right corner was where the around there where my where the target was. So I ended up playing this one almost completely different. I hardly shot the tanks. I think I used them to kill like the scouts and like a speeder bite squad. And the rest of the time, I just tried to start bulldozing his stuff off of his cart and keep it from moving. And I was able to, he was murdering me on kill points. I had lost almost twice as much as he did, but by the end of the game, I had one tank dead, because this is the triple death troopers again with all that impact. But I still had my second one hanging on between his cart and the end zone, and I ended up taking it 3-2 there. It was, I've never played a game of Payload where we were both heading the same direction before.
Yeah, those are the more fun ones anyway.
Yeah, it got real hectic real quick. Black Suns continued their tread of doing absolutely nothing. They got, I think, he had like an aimed up Death Trooper squad run into them with all of the white dice pistols, and I think they had taken like a wound or two before, but then that shot just deleted them. They're just gone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna re-roll 4 3 times,
Yeah.
and he just put, whatever into them, and they were gone. But that was really, really intense and a lot of fun, and a lot different than how my games usually play out. And then here's where our Intrepid story ends. So I ended up playing Danny, who was incredibly awesome. He ended up winning the whole thing. Spoiler alert. So he beat me. And he was playing Yoda Chewie list, but not one that I'd really expected. It was Yoda, Chewie, R2 and 3PO, 3 naked clones, phase 1s, Echo, and 3 naked Barts.
I love
it. Was like one heavy weapon, and it was Echo. And turn 0 to avoid recover the supplies. I ended up having to push it to breakthrough. It's not exactly where I want to be when I'm outnumbered. And he also was able to get limited viz. Yeah, did not go well. So I had to. He chose that right. He made me do what I really don't want to do with this list, and it's go on the offensive. And so I turned 2 rolls. Or first off, I want to say that he's an awesome guy. We were in a hurry trying to set up, and I threw out my command card, and it was I threw out orbital. Not really thinking, because I was kind of in a hurry. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to take that back? It's lim viz." And I didn't ask, he offered that, and I think that's really cool, and I'd like to give him props for that. Didn't matter, he still mollywopped me. But I moved my tank up aggressively, did a range 3 shot on Chewie. And that was the turn that he played the Yoda card where he gets a bunch of tokens and can share them. So with all the token shenanigans, he used calculate the odds on 3PO, gave Yoda a bunch of tokens. Then he guidanced him to do it again.
Yep.
And and then he did something else that I thought was really cool. He put 3PO out and ran over him with a bark to displace him and give him a suppression.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
But with all those token stack, and me in range 3 now, he between Chewie put 3 wounds onto an AAT.
Yikes.
And then Echo put 2 through on an AAT. So suddenly I had one more than half dead on turn 2 from a list I didn't expect to hurt me.
Yeah.
And that was a shock. And then turn 3 rolls around, and I move my Black Suns up. He plays the backpack card. Size matters sometimes. Chewie is like down a hill for me that he'd have to climb up. So I move my Black Suns into exactly range 2 of them. I'm like, all right, I'm safe. I'm exactly range 2 of you. Unload into Chewie. Do absolutely nothing because he's got red saves this turn. They all bounce off of him. And then he double moves towards me. I'm like, wait, I should be out of charge range. And then he puts Yoda in base to base with my Black Suns because he is also attached to him at this point. And I completely whiffed that, and Yoda deleted them. And just double attack gone.
You do that.
Yeah, so that was a bid toss for me. I don't entirely regret because it was going to happen with Burst next turn anyway, but it's still to just throw them away for free kind of hurt. But yeah, and then the rest of the list, Yoda was just bound across. He eventually he went and finished off the tank that had gotten murked. It took like an extra wound from a like a random bark crit or something and rolled the damage result. So it only had one action. It couldn't get away. Yoda eventually ran up and finished that off. And I was able to kill some barks, but not really enough. And so he ended up whomping me. It was 8-2. That is only because at the end I just got aggressive to try to get some kill points. So I started running out of his zone. Basically, because kill points is the first tiebreaker as opposed to victory points, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started running out actually to try to kill some stuff, but it was still
kill points. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
He still played it incredibly well. Forced me on the offensive, and I couldn't put the damage out that I needed to.
Yeah. I was gonna just comment on the kill points being the third tiebreaker, and I feel like kill points really encourages people to like beat down it, because at least if you're like, man, I can't get the objective, but we can just call it here, your opponent's gonna be like, all right, cool, because objective, like margin of victory, is like the third tiebreaker. But if it's kill points, your opponent's gonna be like, no, I got to kill stuff to get better tiebreakers and whatnot.
Yeah, it's like a concession gives them 700, which is crazy. Because sometimes
I actually lost a bit on that, where if I would have tried to push it and table the opponent that I was playing turn one.
Yeah, you almost tell them to like, you can't concede. I need to keep playing. Like, if you concede, I get the points. But it's weird. Not a fan. But we're running a little late, so I'm gonna land the plane.
Congrats to Danny.
Congrats to Danny. Good job, Grammar, to make day 2 at a big convention. That's pretty good. I did not. I was very far away from day 2 status. And I'll go over Keystone next time. And I had a couple of things to go over, but we'll save those for the next episode, because I'm sure there's not going to be any news for Legion, because we're just kind of a dry spell until September, until mini extravaganza. So we're just kind of in like a waiting pattern right now. But anyway, thanks for listening. Catch us next time. Stay rad, and we'll see you later.
Peace.
Night, guys.
Join us next week for another edition of the Fifth Trooper podcast.
This has been a Fifth Trooper production.